Gentlemen, time for Gimme 5. How did the media react to the debate last night? Well, we've talked a lot about it, but let me show you some prime examples. But let me start from before the debate. MSNBC, somehow they turned Donald Trump saying the election is rigged into a dog whistle against blacks. Watch.
The reason to bring it up, and the reason that it isn't just Trump that brings it up. Sorry, John Husted does the same thing when he's trying to undermine the opportunity to vote by making it harder and harder and harder. It is a dog whistle to people who want to believe that African Americans are cheating. It's a dog whistle to the far right.
You mean when he says St. Louis, Cleveland,
think about
Chicago, Philadelphia, and what do they all have in common?
It's feeding the bright
black majorities
who feel that that black people are stealing our elections.
Let's remember
that's all it is.
Where have you heard anybody say that black people are stealing the election? Where have you heard that? Anywhere? I mean, my analogy to her, but this is so bizarre that it's like saying, well, you know, when that black person, when I'm a black person, so when I get to the corner, the light turns red, that must know I'm black. I mean, it's just, that's how much sense it makes. Who said it? Who even implied it? Who even interpreted it that way before you heard this? I don't know where this comes from. I don't. I have no idea. So now let's shift to after the election. And this was ABC News, one of the reporters reacting to what Donald Trump said when he said dangerous or bad hombres. Watch.
I also got to tell you that hombres line that Donald Trump used did not go over well, not just with the Hillary Clinton campaign, but from Latinos. I've heard from people tonight who tell me they were crying, they were offended, downright disgusted by the way he used that word on that stage tonight. Yeah.
So people called her up crying over the fact that Donald Trump referred to thugs and drug lords and gangbangers and murderers who are in this country illegally as bad hombres, dangerous hombres. People were crying, and all the people who were crying were calling her. I've heard nobody else say that people were crying, only her. And they all called her. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You really, really can't make this stuff up. And then there was Matthew Dowd on ABC. Watch.
Hillary clearly won, in my view, won this debate. It was her best performance of the three she's had. Donald Trump does well. He did well in the first third, as we've seen in other debates, and then falters in the final of it. I think this is going to continue on. This whole idea that he wouldn't accept the results is going to continue on. I would expect Republican officials around the country in the day and days ahead to come out and say, Donald Trump, you cannot say that. You need to accept the results of this. But this debate was a clear win for Hillary Clinton. She has the lead. She is actually in the process of running out the clock. And unless some unknown event occurs, Hillary Clinton's going to be elected president of the United States.
That's what the media was saying before the debate. So I'm supposed to be scared that they're saying it after the debate? And by the way, I love the fact CNN today had been touting Hillary Clinton 3 for 3. She's won all 3 debates according to our own polling. I don't even want to know about the poll from last night, because after the second debate poll, where they admitted that 58% of those polled favored Hillary before the debate, and then they found that 57% said Hillary won the debate, and that's supposed to be news? And they're touting that Hillary's 3 for 3? That's how sick this whole thing is. It's insane. Can't believe any of it. I'm sorry. You just can't if you're a studious observer. Okay, Van Jones, speaking of CNN, Van Jones. Google Van Jones and the word communist. I'm not saying he's a communist now, but reportedly there's been stuff written that he was a communist. Van Jones calls Donald Trump a name and says anybody who supports him is unpatriotic. Watch.
You know, this is a really sad night. I'm just going to say it. This is a very sad night for the country. You can't polish this turd. This is, I'm sorry. You cannot.
Technically, you cannot polish any turds.
Yes, exactly. No, the appalling lack of patriotism from this man to stand there and say that, to praise Putin and Assad more than he has ever praised any American president. He doesn't talk about George Washington. He doesn't talk about Ronald Reagan the way he talks about Putin and Assad. This man has demonstrated an appalling lack of patriotism, and you should be ashamed to sit up here and defend it.
All right. You should be ashamed of yourself for defending him. But he's not ashamed of himself for defending Hillary Clinton. And I don't need to go into Hillary Clinton. He didn't praise Putin, and he didn't praise Assad. He said what he said about Assad and then said to Hillary, now you're going to say I like him. But she didn't say it, so he said it. It's a joke. It's a circus. The fix is in with them. With them. Trump had to lose this debate. No matter what he did, no matter what he said, he had to lose. So this is how they make him lose in their minds. And then there was back to MSNBC.
Certainly on the issue of immigration, he did himself no good in states like Arizona, in Nevada, in Georgia, in Texas, which is narrowing up. He was incoherent again on national security issues. He was like an old man in the park feeding squirrels, arguing with himself on the question of Mosul.
So what if a conservative said that Hillary looked at a campaign event or so, looked like an old woman on a park bench feeding squirrels? That would be sexist and terrible. Name calling, turd, old man in a park bench, racist, this, that, unpatriotic. Just keep flinging it. Keep flinging it and see what happens. All right, folks, thanks for watching.